Hello, my name's Stu, and I'm a radio engineer working for the Civil Aviation Authority. The Civil Aviation Authority is the UK's aerospace regulator. This means we work to keep everyone safe in the sky and on the ground. This includes all different types of flying objects, including the planes landing behind me here at Gatwick Airport, but also helicopters, gliders, model aircraft, drones, and other flyers. We also ensure that the airspace used by planes is efficient and that it's usable by all different types of airspace users and those that want to use it. We look after all sorts of different roles within the aviation industry, including air traffic controllers, pilots, and other personnel, and we ensure that they're suitably qualified. Aerospace is an exciting and complex industry to work in. My job here is to ensure that all the radio systems used by aircraft work effectively and that future systems are able to keep up with higher and more complex machines that are going to fly in the air in the future. Aircraft use communication for a variety of reasons. This can include simply talking to an air traffic controller or other staff at the ground to tell them, for example, how many meals an aircraft will need when it lands or how many bags they have. This is typically done using radio voice messages, a bit like the ones that you would use in your kitchen, but it's also done using text messaging and other ways. Aircraft often use radios that we would see in our day-to-day life, whether you've got a walkie-talkie or, as I say, a radio in your kitchen. They're very similar, and the technology isn't a world apart. The difference is that what it's used for in aviation is incredibly important and what we call safety critical. Aircraft also need to know where they're going. We call this navigation. These days, most aircraft use satellite navigation, a bit like what you would have in your car, or what your parents would use. But they also use other systems as well, that typically require equipment to be installed on the ground. This includes a number of what we call landing aids to help aircraft, like the one behind me, landing at airports across the country. These are very complex and very critical bits of equipment, and we make sure that the equipment operates as it should and that airports are running them and operating them as they should do. Finally, we also need to know where aircraft are in the sky. We call this surveillance, and this ensures that we can keep everyone on the ground and other aircraft in the sky safe. This is done using radars and other technology. You may have seen a radar at an airport nearby, which has a big dish and spins round, and it fires electrical energy up into the sky, which bounces off of aircraft so they can tell air traffic controllers and other people where they are. We also look after this, and it's very important as it enables us to make sure we know where every aircraft is in the sky and keeps everyone safe. All of these things rely on radio signals. These are similar to radio signals that you will use at home, whether you're making a call on a mobile phone, using Wi-Fi on your iPad, or watching television. Can you imagine an aeroplane that operated without wireless systems or radios? It'd be very difficult to have trailing wires operating behind the aircraft and taking all that information up and bringing information back down. So radio systems are very critical to how aviation and aerospace works, and they're going to continue to be just as important. I first became interested in engineering at primary school. I enjoyed making things and taking things apart and seeing how they worked. I was known for pressing buttons as a child and putting things like food into things like CD players and being interested in how the world worked around me. I used to love new technology and learning how it worked. When I was younger, I was inspired by several members of my family. My dad and granddad were communication engineers, and several of my uncles worked in the aviation industry fixing aircraft. I found these role models really important, and they really helped me to identify what I wanted to do in my future career. When I was at school, I really enjoyed science, maths and computing, and I studied all of these at college after I finished when I was 16. I also learnt electronics, which I really enjoyed at college, and it was a really interesting subject that I hadn't had an opportunity to study at school. When I'd finished my A-levels, I went to the University of Brighton and studied electronic engineering. I really enjoyed my time at university. It was really interesting. I got to learn lots and lots about different types of systems and lead a slightly different life to the one I'd been leading at home. But there are other ways to get into engineering. This could include an apprenticeship, where you start working after you leave school for a company and they help train you and teach you about new things. I originally started working when I left university, building television studios for a very small company. This was a really exciting role, and I went to all sorts of different places, building television studios for people to record television programmes, and I really, really enjoyed it. A few years later, I moved jobs and became interested in other technology, in other radio systems, and eventually moved into aerospace about 8 years ago. A job in engineering is incredibly varied, and there are so many different opportunities and places you can go. This is probably one of my favourite things about engineering, going to different places and meeting new people. Working with so many different types of systems and technology can be incredibly challenging, but also very, very exciting. I love how in the aviation industry, all these systems work together to create something as complex as an aircraft and help it fly in the sky. Incredibly, we're moving from a world where we just talk about aircraft to talking more and more about drones and even space flights from the UK, which the Civil Aviation Authority will play a role in. This is a new dimension to my career, and I find this incredibly exciting and fulfilling. Typically, a day for work at me, I'll spend a lot of time at a desk using different pieces of computer software to do different things, but also attend a lot of meetings to discuss what we're going to do in future, how we're going to look after things, and spend a lot of time with colleagues. I also occasionally visit colleagues and other aviation experts at various places in the country, so whether that's at airports or at other offices. I really enjoy getting out and about, and I think it's one of the favourite parts of my job. Sometimes I also travel overseas to go and meet international partners to talk about technology and how we're going to improve aviation in the future. Being an engineer has provided me with so many different exciting opportunities. I've been to so many exciting places, and that includes places like airports, like Gatwick Airport behind me, but even television studios. I worked in a country called Angola for a period of time to build a television studio there. I've worked in the tallest building in London to build a television studio there, and been to many different places, all sorts of different airports. I've been on test flights to test new technologies. And I think that's the main benefit of engineering, that it opens so many doors and gives you so many exciting opportunities to do and try new things. I'm very, very happy with my chosen career path, and one of the main things I like about it is that I get to work with a variety of really interesting and exciting people on different things. Recently I became a manager, and I do miss being more technically involved in the work that I do, but I also enjoy watching and helping people learn and develop. This is a very exciting part of my career now, and I really enjoy that. My role here at the Aviation Authority is one of hundreds or even thousands of different roles within the aviation industry. I think a lot of us think about pilots or air traffic controllers when we think about aviation or aerospace. There are so many different opportunities available, whether you want to design and maintain jet engines on aircraft, or you want to get involved in aerodynamics and how aircraft work, build wings, or if you want to be a pilot or anything else. There's almost a job for everyone in aviation. There's lots of different technologies that keep aircraft in the sky, and that ranges from kind of heavy engineering through to kind of big hydraulic systems that power the wheels that come out from an aircraft, all the way through to software engineering, which helps the aircraft to fly and stay safe. I think this combination of all different types of technology is just so exciting. And one of the most exciting things about the aviation industry is still to come. We have a huge challenge when it comes to sustainability, and there's lots of new types of technology that are coming in who want to fly in the airspace and in the skies around us. And that might be drones, or it might be flying taxis. And so the technology keeps changing and the challenges keep coming, which I think makes my job so fulfilling. So if you're interested in a career in aviation or becoming an engineer, do get out and talk to people about their jobs. There's many resources online that you can look into, and we need more talented people to help us keep everyone connected in a sustainable way in the future. Thank you very much. Bye.